I'm 9 years old.
But at the same point in time, you gotta be respectful though, cause you still a child.
Because I'm not one of her little friends, you know.
What?
I'm a 9-year-old grown man. I can express my feelings. I have the right.
You did wrong. She don't have. Yo.
If she come in here,
And I just beat the horn. She probably just disregarded that.
can I beat the horn one more time?
No, because I don't want her to come in here and be like, I said I was coming. Hey, Kathy. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Miss Kathy.
Crazy. Hey, we about to go to church. We about to get our Kirk Franklin on one. Get our Kirk Franklin on one.
I might as well sit in the front seat, or maybe.
She said, hey, baby.
How are you today?
My bad. She said you look handsome.
Thank you.
You was just...
What?
Don't be scared. Show them dimples off, boy. Just say yes. Love him. He is something else. Get out of my face. Get out of my hair.
Come on, Ma.
So he said that he was going to take my wig off.
I'm going to take your wig off.
If this little boy ever do that, y'all going to see him get the biggest. And I don't even spank my son. I've only spanked my son, or popped my son twice. I've only popped him twice, and he's 9 years old, because I don't believe in spankings. I'm one of them parents that I feel like my voice is enough authority. I don't have to touch my child. But he pulled my wig off on this live, or any live. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
What happens if I did it for a prank? If I had like the right cameras, if I had the perfect camera and I did a prank on you and I snatched the weave off.
Well, I got hair. I got hair, so it's like it doesn't matter, but it's just the fact that that's embarrassing. And they were like, her son took her wig off. They're going to keep replaying it and keep, especially the people that don't like me. Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. So, you know, I'm going to be, all 2019, I'm keeping my mouth closed. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of work, and I got a lot of things coming up, and I ain't going to speak about it, period. But I do want to say this. I do want to thank my supporters, though. Because when I uploaded my first video, it's like, not one of those, like, live videos where you on live talking. It's one of them videos, like, I forgot how to, like, how is it, Elijah? What? When the picture right there, you be talking about hot. It's called Hot Topics or whatever. And I got a good response from that. So that just made me want to do it even more. But that's all I'm going to say. Because, you know, people be praying to get your downfall and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's when you do something on somebody, how, like, what they did or how they act.
Gossip.
Like gossip. You put the picture in front and, like, have this a picture of the person you're talking about, and you talk behind the picture so they don't know who you are, whatever, you know what I mean? Unless you do like a
live,
yeah, or YouTube videos saying who you are and showing your face.
There you go. Yeah, I already uploaded it though. I just uploaded one yesterday, and I uploaded one a few hours before that, and it's all right. You know what I'm saying? So that
was amazing.
And that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I made a promise to myself. I said, girl, 2019, I'm hitting one of these. I see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So that's how I'm gonna be going with that. I learned my lesson on a lot this year. So what I learned this year and the lessons that I learned, the karma and all that, I'm going to have a whole nother good, I'm going to have a 2019 is going to be a good year. I ain't one of them people that's going to be like, oh, 2019, I'm going to do things different. Because, you know, every year people say that. People be like, oh, it's a new year, it's a new me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. And be doing the same thing that they say that they wasn't gonna do. So my thing is, I'm not gonna speak it, I'm just going to do it. Because actions are always more louder than words. Because a person can say anything. You could say something in repetition 100 times and still do it. But when you don't say nothing, it's like people don't have nothing to feed off of or pick up. So it's like, I'm just going to shut my mouth and do it. And I'm going to let my actions speak. Period. I think a lot of people need to be more like that. Because I've learned. I have really learned that people will block your blessing. You block your own blessing, actually. Because when you speak and you just keep telling your business, oh, so I'm about to, not you did, but I'm about to work with this person, or I'm about to do this. You're blocking your blessing because you letting the enemy know already what you're about to do. You haven't even done it yet. So they have a chance to infiltrate and stop your blessing just because of you running your mouth. So guess what? Y'all won't get that out of me.
Mom, just like, can I tell him? Just like when I said I was gonna quit McDonald's, and then I quit McDonald's for 2-3 days, and then I went right back to going to McDonald's. I could start eating this. It's so good.
See, I was about to tell him something on here that he was gonna be like, oh. But McDonald's food, I mean, I don't personally like it. I've outgrown it. Because McDonald's food upset my stomach.
How?
And I know if it had set my stomach before pregnancy, I know it's going to make me sick now. So I don't even want it. I'll take a fry. And do you not know you can smoke McDonald's fries?
What?
Yeah, you know, we be on YouTube. Me and my son be on YouTube. He be looking up life hacks and all that. But I looked up on YouTube, a whole rack of people were smoking McDonald's fries. I was like, no. They can't do that.
How though?
They cut the tip and they just start smoking it. I'm like, what are you inhaling? You're inhaling all oil, all types of just chemicals. Like, y'all dumb for that.
Wait. So they cut the piece out and they do this?
They smoke it, yeah, like a cigarette.
Oh my! Wait, how could you?
And to those that smoke cigarettes, please don't smoke cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. That's a nasty. I can't even stand the smell of a cigarette. Because when you smoke cigarettes, it get on your breath. It stains your teeth. It gets in your clothes and your hair and your... I didn't have too many people try to be romantic with me. Like, not romantic as far as, like, sexual, but romantic with me as far as, like, wanting to take me out and things like that. And be smelling like all cigarette smoke. And I'd be like, did you just smoke a cigarette? He'd be like, nah, I smoked a cigarette earlier. And it's still on your breath and it's still in your clothes. If you don't take me home and delete my number, cigarette breath. Like, get real with that. Like, that is nasty to me. And I say it's nasty because it's crazy because I used to smoke cigarettes. But when I moved to Atlanta, Atlanta was like a new eye-opener for me. Because when I moved to Atlanta, as soon as I stepped off the Greyhound, I quit cigarettes. Mind you, the day before, I was smoking 4, 5, 6 cigarettes a day. When I moved to Atlanta last year, I was just like, yo, this is a new me. I'm in Atlanta. I'm about to do this. No more cigarettes. None. And I went on that. So every time I would meet somebody, I'm like, oh, you smoke cigarettes? Just knowing that I was just smoking the cigarettes like 2 days before. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like when you stop smoking something or stop doing something and then you see somebody else do it or you smell it, it makes you sick. Like now I do not like the smell of cigarettes. I try to tell my fiance to not do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't smoke cigarettes. Now, marijuana, that's your preference. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard nobody dying off of it. I've never heard nobody overdosing off of it. I heard people laughing, having a good time, eating good. You know, and it also, marijuana helps mental illness. You know, marijuana helps migraines. If you have sickle cell, what is it? MS sclerosis or whatever the case may be, it helps that. So I've never heard a downside of marijuana. But cigarettes, you have to understand, it's so many chemicals in cigarettes, it's ridiculous. It's so many chemicals. And then on top of that, the filter. Do you not know what is in the filter of the cigarette? So you have to really like choose wisely. Because every time you puff a cigarette, you're destroying your kidneys. You're destroying your lungs. You're destroying these things that you need in your body.
Important.
I've seen a kidney that was pink and fresh and good, and then I've seen a kidney of a person that smoked, that's been smoking for 20 years. It was nasty. It had holes in it. It was black. It looked very nasty. And I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm glad I stopped, because my father died from that. My father had sickle cell, but my father also had bone cancer and lung cancer. Okay. And he smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. Literally. I literally saved my father's life. Like, one day he was about to really die. Like, he just stopped breathing. He took a puff of the cigarette and he just stopped breathing. And then me and my oldest brother, well, one of my older brothers was in there, and I'm like, Daddy, Daddy. And my brother was like, go get him some water, hurry up. And once we did that, we tried to work on him before even calling the ambulance, and he was okay. You know, and he did give me some money and buy me my daddy took me on a big shopping spree after that. Because he was like, yo, you saved my life. Like, let me take you shopping. I'm like, okay, Daddy. Okay, Father. Took me shopping or whatever. But what I couldn't understand with that, I'm bouncing back and forth. My father had sickle cell, but my father was in the military. My father was a Marine. My father got drafted. Like, remember, back in those days, you didn't have a choice. They didn't care if you were sick, whatever. If they told you had to be drafted into the military, that's what it was. It wasn't, no, sir, I can't, I'm sick. It was, if you don't get your black down there. So that's what it was. So that's why I couldn't understand, like, with me having sickle cell and me wanting to go into the military, I couldn't understand why I couldn't. I'm like, well, my dad did it and he had sickle cell, so why can't I be in the military? And I got, like, why? Because in the military, you can't have a mental problem, you can't have physical problems and nothing like that. So I don't want it. So it was like, why? And then I thought about it, and after talking to my family on my father's side, it was like, okay, now I see what's going on. My father got drafted at a very young age. My father died in 2003. My father was 61 years old. So you have to understand, he would have been 70 something. You know what I'm saying? Now. So back then, he had no choice. They didn't care if he had sickle cell. They didn't care if he was sick. And he did his thing. You know, he fought. He made it so that I'm going to do this so that my daughter and my children won't have to really need or want for anything. And my father stayed in the military for a long time, to the point where he was, how do you say it? He, not retired, but he had reached his limit in the military. He was like, okay, yeah, retired. He retired from the military and started working in a hospital, you know, so it was like he's always made a living for me and my family so that we wouldn't have to work. And then my mom, her being a lawyer at the time, I was really living good. I ain't gonna lie, I had the best childhood because I didn't want for nothing. But that's let alone the point. What I'm trying to say is, I just couldn't understand why I couldn't do the military. My dad did, but I had to remind myself it was a different time, a different age back then. And back to the cigarettes. My father started smoking cigarettes in the military. Before he went into the military, my father never smoked cigarettes. He said it was so stressful and it was just so much on him, he started smoking, so that when he came out, he was just smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking. And finally, when my father went into the hospital, this was 2003, you know, we had been on odds because it was like he felt like I loved my mom more than him. And I didn't know that my dad was that sick. My dad never talked to me about cancer. He never said he just told me that it was his sickle cell. He never told me that he was fighting for his life. So I went to go see him in the hospital. This is the first time we had really talked back because he was mad at me because he felt like I chose my mom over him. And then next thing I know, first day of 9th grade, your father died. I got a phone call while I was in school, y'all. Who calls a child in school to tell them their father died? So I'm in school, I'm popular, you know, everybody like, hey girl, like, hey, I'm here. And then I get a phone call from my aunt, and my aunt never liked me, so I believe that's why she did it. She called my phone, and then she was like, oh yeah, your father died. Just wanted to let you know. He died last night at 8:15. And I'm like, first of all, I was calling her every B-I-T-C-H in the book. Because I'm like, why would you call me? You know I'm in school, witch. Why would you call me? That's evil. So, and then when I found out, I'm like, well, how did he die? And he's like, well, they named it something, But basically, them cigarettes is what killed him. And we kept saying, Dad, stop smoking these cigarettes. Because when he used to sweat, he literally used to sweat green stuff. My father never sweat clear. Every time he would wipe his sweat, it was green. And I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you? Like,
Mom,
what is going on? But, hey, for those that smoke cigarettes, stop while you ahead. I done lost too many people to cigarettes, including my birth father. So that is not cool. At no ends, no way, no how. That's not cool. And that's why I had to stop, because my son literally had tears in his eyes. It's like, Mom, can you please stop smoking cigarettes, please? And I had to think back to my dad. I'm like, you know what? This trip to Atlanta is going to be new for me, new start. I'm going to go ahead and stop. And now I don't regret it, because I can't stand the smell of it. I don't care what cigarette it is, a Marlboro, a Newport, a Virginia Slim. I don't care what it is. I cannot stand none of that. I cannot. Like, oh no, I will not stand for that. You feel me? But hey, to each his own. I'm just putting it out there. I don't think it's kosher. I don't think y'all should do it. You know, it's not healthy. It's really not. I'm speaking of from experience. It's not healthy. And then me having sickle cell. You can't smoke cigarettes anyway and have sickle cell. I was in the it's like every time I puff a cigarette and smoke as many cigarettes as I smoke, I would stay in and out the hospital. And the doctor was like, you must want to, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep smoking cigarettes if you know it's going to affect your body like this because you're sickle cell? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, because you're hard-headed. Hard head make a soft butt. So after me going in the hospital several times, like I'd have been to the hospital 30 times in 1 year. 30 times in 1 year. That's how bad my sickle cell is. And for the summertime, I praise God I haven't been in the hospital that much. Like this summer, I've probably been in the hospital, I want to say, how many times you think, Elijah?
7 times.
Like about 7, 8 times during out the summer. So, it's been alright, you know.
Excuse me, my question.
So,
can I please?
But yeah, I just wanted to say that. And let y'all know to follow my YouTube channel, Azzaria Del Rose.
And my YouTube channel.
And